Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach. What's going on, guys? It's a bit of a double video Monday style of setup. Nothing too exciting on the other video. Shorty's just letting you guys know when I'm going live. Wednesday, 8 o'clock. So get around that. I shifted from Tuesday to Wednesday a little bit, but hopefully weekends chat nonetheless, because shit, there's a bit to talk about. Now, it is the time where prices are going to change. We've had our 2 weeks. The honeymoon period is over. We've got to make some serious changes now. Well, hopefully you don't, but I feel like I get the sense we do. I wouldn't normally touch on this stuff until later in the week, but I was at TAFE, and half the time I was thinking about SuperCoach. Maybe I have a problem. I don't know, but we have a few things to talk about. You got Whitfield, you've got Gawn. I've got a list right here of probably 7 or 8 names that we need to talk about, and we need another trade boost. Herald Sun gives us a little trade boost. I need to boost it up to 4 trades this week, I think. And I had a good week, but there are a couple of issues. Now, before I get right into it, just want to thank Cameron for donating to the Laps for Life. I put the link in one of the videos the other day, and he was kind enough to chuck in a little donation. So I really appreciate that, mate. So just want to give you a little bit of a shout out there. But like I said, I often think if I'm thinking about it, you guys are thinking about it. I had a spare bit of time at the moment, and I thought I'll just smash out a little bit of a video, because we have so much to think about before prices change. You got to correct some rookies that maybe you missed out on, make some hard calls on maybe some premiums that we didn't quite cover off on, or we didn't quite expect what we're getting. So what's on the menu today? Max Gawn, Lachie Whitfield, Jack Hayes, George Hewitt, Timmy English, Jack Ginnivan. 1 week he's known for his GoPro abilities. Next minute he's floating around scoring 119. Jye Bowey, Caldwell, Tristan Xerri, Rowell, Cripps, Heeney. I just want to walk you through how I feel like I'm going to go on a few of the main ones. I feel like the most pressing one is Max Gawn. Who would have thought? I've gone against set and forget for about 4 or 5 years, and it's spat in my face every single time. It's been a banana peel that I've slipped up on every single time. I've gone Sammy Draper. I've gone other pricks. I can't remember some of the howling decisions. I started Matthew Leuenberger once upon a time. Oh, shocker. Tim English, I reckon. He was a guy that, funnily enough, we're talking about now, he burnt me as my R2 once upon a time. So I went with set and forget. And all of a sudden, Max Gawn decides, no, this is going to be the time that I just take a bit of a back seat and let Luke Jackson run rampant. So, credit to you if you started Jackson. And look, it's not a disaster with Gawn, but I feel like with these extra trades, and I know we will have to use some against our will at times, but I do think it allows us to be a little bit more aggressive. And there does seem to be a change, 10 centre bounce attendances for Jackson. I'm not sure exactly on Gawn's number, but clearly the stats don't lie. I think it's a combination. I don't think Gawn's playing quite at his best, but I do think Jackson is also doing what we thought. I picked Gawn not expecting 125. I was expecting like 110, but for that to still be a keeper. All of a sudden, I feel like he's a touch out of form. He's a little bit off, and there'll be days where I think Melbourne preference Jackson a little bit more, and when they preference Gawn a little bit more. I did not think the day would come where I'd trade Max Gawn out of my SuperCoach team after starting him 2 weeks in. But here we are. So do we get rid of him? Do we not? It probably depends on a few other bits and pieces you need to do. I think that I am leaning towards trading him. Just because I think we can. With the extra trades, with the way it's panning out, with the other options we have, I'm kind of happy to just say, look, Max, let's take a break, mate. The old Ross and Rachel, they're on a break. Let's just kick back and see what happens. Now, he could be in my team in 5 weeks' time. I just want to back the truck up on the old set and forget, take a bit of a step back, have a look, glance out to the world and say, who are the top 2 rucks in this beautiful game that we play? I know Brody Grundy is. But am I going to invest back into Gawn when he drops a little bit in price? Or is there something else going on? What's Sean Darcy's injury update? I'm not even sure. But could he, once he gets running, clearly Lloyd Meek took the first bounce and had a fair bit of ruck time. So clearly Darcy isn't shouldering the ruck load just yet, and he went down. So that's a concern. I think he came back on, not 100% sure. nonetheless, my opinion for who to go Gawn, and I'm just going to run through sort of live here with a few of my thought process about the trade. And while he's right there, look, I kind of get the thinking with Wits, you get a little bit more coin, and you know he is sort of really reliable. I would have preferred a bit of a higher score in round 2 than what we got. Fuck, Brayshaw scored 189. Holy shit! Didn't realise it was that big. That's wild. Fuck. I genuinely... Do you remember when I put my team out and I think I had Dangerfield and Brayshaw in the team? Wouldn't have worked out so well with Dangerfield last week, or just gone, but far out. Brayshaw has taken it next level, isn't he? Crikey. Anyway, got distracted there. So I would lean towards going English. I just think the one rider on it, I do want to see how the doggies line up and what team they name. I've just heard a couple of whispers that maybe they want to, they're not playing well. I think English around the ground is looking career best. I still don't know. Listening to a bit of report on the game, it did feel like Pitnet sort of controlled the rucks and the contests a little bit. So I'm not sure if he competed as well as he did in round 1. I was working on the day, so it was hard to get, or on the evening, it was hard to get a good sense of it. But that's how I'm sort of leaning towards that. And I do think it's a big decision. I want to, with all my heart, back Gawn in, but he's out of touch. We can get him cheaper in a month if we need. And the role, I always say back in your premiums, but if a role has changed, we've got to take note. And maybe it's affecting Gawn more than we anticipated. Now, I also want to look at our good friend, Lachie Whitfield. I'm not sure what he's doing, but it's not much. I think he was on about 50 at three-quarter time. Didn't do too much in the last quarter, 20 points, but it's better than what he was doing. 2 real mediocre scores. I thought he was going to be one of the bargains of the year. I love his dash and all that sort of stuff, but it is not happening for him at the moment. He seems to be quite off from what we would expect. I read an interesting stat on Twitter. Defensive possessions, he had 6. So I think in the defensive 50 had 6. I believe Perryman had 8 and Isaac Cumming had 13. So what does that mean? That's just the general switching of play, the getting involved in that cheap stuff that turns a 70 into a 90. It's still not a great game. It's not amazing, but it's respectable. And he'll have his days where he goes gangbusters. Now, honestly, Ridley scored 102, but to be honest, I'm a bit concerned about that as well. He's not really getting involved in those chains of players I would like. But we got bigger fish to fry than ditching a bloke who scored 102. So, in terms of Whitfield, I think it's pretty straightforward. For me, it's looking like George Hewitt. Now, if you've already got Hewitt, it could definitely be Sicily. If you want to get real inventive, it could be Jake Bowey down at the D's at about 250 or something like that. I can't remember what he is, but he scored 151. Now, if you had come up to me at the start of the year and said, Shorty, if Jake Bowey, I don't even know the bloke's name, if he scores 150 this year, you do a nudie run around Geelong. I would have said, no worries, mate. Done and dusted. That's a deal. Never in my wildest dreams did I think he would score that. So the only reason, so the pros and cons there, you'll pocket more cash from Bowey, of course, self-explanatory. But you will inevitably waste more trades. Now, I view Hewitt at the moment as a guy that I can keep for the rest of the year. He's playing great, new role, amazing, new club. He's doing his thing. Bowey will get you more coin. He's going to rampantly rise up in price. That's awesome. But you will eventually trade him out. So I guess what I'm doing is Whitfield down to Hewitt. Bang, one trade. Sweet. Thanks, George. Then you got Bowey. Whitfield down to Bowey. Bang, one trade. Makes us some nice coin. And then you go Bowey to Tom Stewart or Jake Lloyd or something that floats your boat like that. Bang. 2 trades. So you are using an extra trade. So don't always get into that thought of going, well, he makes me more money. Yeah, he does, but you're not keeping him all year. So it all depends what sort of a price point you put on the value of a trade. But that's what I'm looking at for that. And then, look, I do think Jack Hayes, I'd have to do a trade boost to initiate that. I've never done this before. Ooh, activate a trade boost. I'll do that another time. I think I will, ladies and gentlemen. I will go Hugh Dixon to Jack Hayes. But for example's sake, I'll just leave it for now because I think you got the picture. So that's what I'm thinking from my point of view. I think that'll leave me with about 280k. I've heard some people sort of talk about Gawn all the way down to Hayes. That just concerns me in the fact that you'll leave yourself vulnerable from a scoring point of view. I thought about it, but then I thought, well, I've got no idea when I'm going to upgrade my rucks, and I don't want to get to a stage where I'm just carrying Jack Hayes, who he might not be in the team in 3 weeks. I know he's a bit of a fairy tale, but he might average 64 for the next 7 games, and that could really hurt you if he's on the field. So just bear that in mind. Don't sacrifice too much on-field point scoring for cash. Who else did I have on the list? I think Ginnivan, however you want to say it. I was red hot on him, then I realised he was $199. I didn't realise he was priced sort of a little bit extra, but I guess it makes sense because he's, he played last year, didn't he? I think so. Well, he had to have if he's at $199. I think if you got some luxury spending, then fair enough. I have bigger fish to fry in terms of the trades I need to make. I think he'll be extremely inconsistent in his scoring, just with the role he plays. It was great on the weekend, but he'll be up and down. He's just as likely to score 52 next week. So he'll make you money, but he will be sporadic in his scoring ability. Caldwell, I do think that he will, obviously with Zach Merritt missing a serious portion of the season now with syndesmosis, I think it is, he will move into that role much better, you would imagine, get more inside midfield time. It has to benefit him. So a bit of a stroke of luck if you had him already. Others might look to jump on him and ride that wave. It's not so much for me. Tristan Xerri, he looked every bit the player that we wanted him to be. So I do think if you're looking at upgrading guys, if you're looking at Ginnivan, I'd prefer you to go Xerri if you don't have him already. And then say the likes of guys that maybe we're wondering, do we have to bring him in? Heeney, Cripps and Rowell. I think Cripps is back 100%, looks amazing. I think that's, says itself. Rowell, thanks everyone who informed me that he played a bit of a tagging defensive role later in that game. Stuart Jew, piss off, mate. We don't need that. Come on, buddy. But look, he did that at times last year. I'm not really sure why Rowell would be the guy you go to do that. But anyway, that's Stuart Jew's issue. And Isaac Heeney. So honestly, Heeney I didn't think played this amazing midfield role or anything. He played almost the role I felt like he did last year, but just got on the end of it and finished beautifully. So, but I do love him. So I think Cripps of those three is the guy that I would prioritise the most. And then I'll just let you assess your team and what you think you got to do, whether you can afford to do those other ones. So I think most of us out there will be doing a trade boost this week, so good luck to yous. In terms of, priority, I do think Whitfield's the main guy that has to go. I'd stay patient with Jack Steele. I really would. I still see him averaging minimum 115. Minimum, guys. Come on. If you started with him, be patient. He'll come good. He was better on the weekend. Jesus, that dog scared the shit out of me. I would prioritise getting Cripps in. I would prioritise getting Hewitt in. I would prioritise getting Jack Hayes in if you can. It's not absolute must-have, but I think most of us will. So, look, it is a bit tricky to try and, 5 doesn't go into 3. But hopefully everyone is comfortable with the trades they're making. I will be back later in the week. I'll be back, of course, going live on Wednesday night. So I look forward to chatting to you all then. Plenty of banter, plenty of chit-chat and SuperCoach talk. And, of course, we'll have the weekend preview, which I'll do after work, and a bit of a late-night video on the Thursday. So, yeah, appreciate you guys jumping on board. Bit of a random video, but SuperCoach was on the mind, and I think it's on all your minds out there. I was going through all the comments on my press conference. There was like 60 of them. So thanks heaps for everyone who posted a question. And I thought, so much interest in the game at the moment, I've got to do a video. So, yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Get around it. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.